So, I just wanted to make a quick little video about Slate Trigger and sample rates. Um, I just was recording some samples and bouncing them out to put into Slate Trigger to make some TCIs. And when I was comparing, I noticed there was this weird pitch discrepancy happening between the real drum recording I had and the sample. And I was kind of confused, and I've worked out what's happened, and I just wanted to make a quick video about it because I feel like I've had this problem for all the samples I made, and I've only just worked out what's happening. I'm sure this is obvious to some people with how sample rates work, but the thing is, I kept everything at the same sample rate, and I was still getting this problem until I pushed everything down to 44. So what I was doing is I recorded some of these samples, and then I just recorded this little demo of the drum itself to trigger to see if it sounds accurate. So this is what the drum itself sounds like. That is like live off of the microphone with me just doing a little snare roll. And then this is the... So I recorded everything else, everything at 48, and then bounced down the samples at 48, imported the samples into Trigger at 48, and then brought them back into Reaper in Trigger at 48. And I was noticing the pitch was not correct. So I'll press play. And then I'll compare to the actual drum. As you can hear, it's like pretty substantially lower in pitch. With the ring and everything, it doesn't sound like what I recorded. So what I did is I rebounced all my files that I have over here at 41, and then imported into Trigger at 41. Within the settings in the editor software. I'll go to that in a moment, but then I brought it all back in my session as I'm still at 48 in my actual Reaper session, but now the pitch is actually correct, and there's this sheen, like high-end sheen, that is still in the recording. So this is the thing I've noticed in all my like trigger samples that I've made, is there's this lack of like high-end and like clarity that is, you hear in other sample libraries like GGD or something like that. I couldn't fucking work out what was happening, and I think this is what it is. It's just this sample rate mismatch, and it's causing pitch issues that I had never noticed until I literally A and B'd it against the same drum. So to show you, this one on the right is the 48, and then the left is the 41. Oh, hang on. The difference is kind of crazy. I can't believe I haven't noticed until now. So I'll just play it all again, and I'll go one by one. So I'll start with a real, and then go to 48, and then 41. So in Trigger, this is the instrument editor that Trigger has, and this allows you to drop in WAV files. So what I did is in here in the settings, I set my sample rate. So I'm using the ASIO type here. You can probably use the direct sound, and that would be fine also. But make sure it's set to 41 in this, because this is what will make the difference. So if I play this right now, I noticed, because the samples are 41, but the interface is 48. If I play this now, it's done the opposite and pushed it all up in pitch. So you really have to make sure that your sample rate for whatever interface you're monitoring on in Trigger, like the editor, is the same as the samples, or else there's going to be pitch shifting purely by changing sample rates. I would change it back to 41, but I think it'll fuck up all my audio with OBS. Yeah, so if you're ever finding your Trigger samples are sounding wrong or not how you recorded them, this is probably why. Here's probably a good example of this. If I put Trigger on the actual audio that I've bounced to make the samples, so it's the same velocity as what's actually what I bounced out. And then if I pull the mix, they're now exactly the same. But if I do the 48 over the actual hits that I bounced out, not even close. So, something I wanted to mention because there's nothing really, I guess. I mean, there might be something somewhere that explains this, but um, I've definitely completely missed this in all my years of making samples, and hopefully this can help somebody if they're having a similar problem.